Superman. We will do Superman, baby. Okay. Let me start the. How's it going, everybody? Yeah. So back again here. Another review. You say hi in your mic. Yeah. So this is another review here. Another TV show uh, that I did binge watch. I actually binge watch the entire Lord of the Rings series because of the original trilogy I hadn't seen since I was in my teens, and I hadn't seen any of the Hobbit movies until now. So I sat and I just binge watched everything. So I saw the original trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, and I binge watched all of Rings of Power. So and this was 2022. So let's go ahead and review Rings of Power. So this is Lord of the Rings, of course, Rings of Power. This is based on what was it, the Similarian or whatever it was called. So I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I don't consider myself a person who knows the entire lore. Uh, so as you probably know, this is really expensive. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, baby, go get your camera. Yeah, get your camera so we can finish recording. Okay. But so this is so essentially this is a show where everyone. This is a show where I guess they base this on. I think it was like a table of contents. You know, not so much that they had anything to really to go off of in terms of like content. So uh, this was like a. I guess this was a prequel to the original trilogy. So this takes like I think like 1,000 years before the actual Lord of the Rings like trilogy. So yep. So you have this show. It's so if you know its background, it's the most expensive show made on Amazon Prime. And it shows. I mean, it for a TV show, this looks really good. It's a really beautiful show for it being just a TV show. And not only that too, but this is uh, um, also this is pretty much like a show where they decided to what was I about to say? Yeah, I'll say something too. Uh, oh yeah, that's right. That's what I was gonna say. The criticism and the backlash on this show has been pretty. It's been pretty harsh online if you look at it too. There's a lot of people saying this show is terrible. Uh, the show is pandering. It's it's a lot of things. So if you come to my review, I will tell you I'm going to give you the most fair and honest review. Um, I'm not going to I'm not going to be one of those reviewers, that's for sure. So I don't really know too many of the actors in here at all. So these are all new people. Um, just watching Wednesday, I did point out too. It was like, oh, the dwarven princess lady. She's in Wednesday. She shows up briefly in Wednesday. So you have basically you have a story. Well, you have a show here with a bunch of different storylines going on. So uh, you have the they're the Harfoots is what they call them in here, but they're they're hobbits. So I guess there was a whole copyright thing to where they couldn't use certain. The copyright was weird to this because I guess they couldn't use certain things. There were certain like terminologies and things they couldn't use because they didn't own certain aspects or certain copyrights in terms of like Lord of the Rings. Like again, they couldn't call them hobbits; they had to call them Harfoots. But they're hobbits. So so this is pretty much like a story about so the your main character here is Gladriel, and she is basically looking for um, she's looking for the basically the man I'm blanking out names today. She's looking for the villain that killed her brother, essentially. So that's how the show pretty much starts. Is her brother died fighting. Was it I'm gonna have to look his name up now because that is. I'm sorry, I'm bad with the names of Lord of the Rings. I'm awful with all the names in this series. I say I'm not the biggest fan, but um, man, what was? You're gonna see me do research real quick in the middle of this review because I don't know. Jesus, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, Sauron. Thank you, Jesus, Sauron. Uh, so yeah, so that's pretty much what the show is. Is like, well, I mean, there's other storylines going on too, but a lot of this is her looking for Sauron, and she is. I'm trying to find my trailer again. Yeah, so essentially, yeah, she's looking for Sauron. Sauron killed her brother, so she's traveling, uh, and then again, you get these other storylines. So there's another storyline also of this giant. He comes down a meteor. These two little girls, they are Harfoots. They find him, amidst the rubble. And there's this whole mystery in that story as to what is this giant? Who is this guy? What's going on? So that kind of it's kind of like this whole mystery behind what he is. And you also have another story where it's we got Sam's the black elf and yeah him, and he's trying to basically stop these. Basically, he's trying to put stop to these orcs from like invading his town. They kind of invade at the beginning. Um, there's an episode where he gets it's like he gets like enslaved and stuff like that, and he pretty much is trying to declare his love to this woman and things of that nature. It's this sword. Um, it's this really evil sword, really cool actually evil sword too. Um, and I'm not gonna ruin what it does, but I just thought it was like a cool idea. And then you have this other story about this dwarven prince and uh, one of the because these are older a couple of the elf characters like older Lord of the Rings characters, uh, but these two have like this friendship, and there's this thing with they have to find this mithril, the silver called mithril, and that they have to use that to because the elves are dying off and stuff like that. So um, there's a lot going on in this show, and yet I just never felt like it really all gelled together very well. If that sounded like that was way too much story going on in this, that's because it is. Um, oh yeah, and I forgot. There's another storyline in here too. While I'm at it, let's add another one in there. There's this one where it's the son of the king, and you saw the king in the trailer, but it's this king. His son is trying to become this sailor. He wants to be a sailor, and there's this whole there's the son right there, and it's this whole thing with him wanting to sail, and there's a whole side story behind it as well too. Yeah, I this this show is all over the place, and the funny thing about it is for it to have a lot going on in it, there's not a lot going on in the first few episodes. So the first half of the show is pretty dull. A lot of it is a bunch of people just standing around talking. So if you're into people standing around talking and having conversations to move the story forward and not really saying anything interesting, uh, then I think you'll like this a little bit better. I think I'm more in the like and people saying the show is bad. I don't think the show is that bad. Uh, Again, this is coming from somebody I don't know anything. I'm I know. Bless you, baby. You're welcome. I know I said I binge watched everything Lord of the Rings recently. This wasn't that long ago. Like I saw Rings of Power a couple months ago, so I still remember everything fresh. Um, there were some really well choreographed action scenes in this. I think the special effects look amazing. This is a beautiful looking show. This was money well spent, if you want to look at it. But it's like a pretty show with no personality. Like it's like if you meet a pretty girl, but she looks really beautiful. But then when you go and actually talk to her, you're like, wow, you have nothing to talk about. That's essentially this show, which is really sad because like it really starts. There are moments where I thought it was kind of good. It had that. Um, it does have its moments where it. I even dare say it brings out those classic Lord of the Rings moments. There are some seriously good moments in here, but unfortunately they're just moments because once those moments are done, it kind of goes back to show you like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm watching this show right here, so which kind of sucks, man. I think the actors in here are fine. They're all really good. I just didn't really care for a lot of these characters. A lot of these characters are either dull or have no personality. And I'm talking about our main characters. Like the characters we're supposed to be following have no personality. Didn't I didn't really start liking Gladiel. I really I'm mixed. I have mixed reaction to her character. Because towards the end, I start liking her a little bit more. She started becoming a little bit more likable. Uh, but there's moments where she was too cold and distant for me. And I get it. She's supposed to be like this great character, but she has no personality. So it's like it's kind of I don't know. It feels kind of wasted at times. Um, there were really no characters I really care for. Okay, baby, hold on a second. Okay, okay, hang on. Yeah, there were just some characters here I just didn't really care for in terms of personality and things of that nature. So the the uh, the elf and the dwarf character, they were probably my favorite amongst the group of characters. Uh, they try to do this mystery thing, I think, with the the giant with the Harfoots plot line, the giant that they find. I don't want to ruin it if you haven't seen the show, but I didn't really care for the conclusion of that storyline either, because I was still confused when I walked away from it. I was like, so what were they trying to do with that storyline? I don't get it. Um, because they do kind of, even when the conclusion's said and done, they still try to play with it too. Like it's like a mystery. It's like, is he this or is he this? And it's like, I wish y'all just told me. I mean, this is the season finale, so I don't know. I was a little disappointed with that. Like I said, it does have those original trilogy moments. I just wish it. Man, I just wish this was a little bit better, because it just feels like the plot is really clashing with each other. Like I feel like the story is just not. It's not very straightforward. It's like I said, I just gave you all those characters, and their plots just all clash together, and it doesn't really make for a more coherent narrative, unfortunately. Uh, so I like the actors in here. I thought the actors are good. Special effects look nice. You know, it does. It is has that Lord of the Rings look to it, and um, but yeah, that's pretty much my review for this. So I'm gonna probably say, because there's people who really do generally like this show. I feel like if you're into Lord of the Rings, like I said, I'm really not. I'm just kind of coming at this from like a non, like I guess biased perspective. It's sorry. I'm coming at this from like a non-biased perspective. So I mean, if you really like Lord of the Rings, or maybe if you don't, I know people who do like Lord of the Rings and really despise the show. Um, Probably will. Like I said, I'm coming at it from, I guess, more of a neutral standpoint, and I really didn't think the show was. It's not as bad as a lot of people are saying it is. It really isn't. There's definitely some enjoyment to get out of it. Um, if you're like, again, and there are Lord of the Rings fans who really do like this show. So I mean, if you're one of those fans, you're really gonna like this show a lot. You might even think it's one of the best shows out there. For me, I have my gripes with it. I have my issues. Um, there's some really bizarre writing mistakes in this show that I kind of caught, and I had to actually like rewound it to make sure I didn't hear certain dialogue moments incorrectly or something like that. But there are some like questionable like writing moments in here that I kind of caught as well too. So I don't know. There's supposed to be a season two, so I don't know. Hopefully, season two is an improvement. But this one for me, I'm gonna say it's pretty average at best. This is an average recommendation for me. Uh, that's how I'm pretty much gonna do uh, as far as this goes, because I feel like you're gonna. So there's a bunch of camps with this show. There's camps that who who haven't seen this show, and they've just kind of went in. They kind of already went in hating it, which I don't think that's fair to do. Um, I think you should just judge. You should go in and see something, judge it on your merits. Don't go by what other people have said about this show. Just watch it, because it was a lot of people who were like, yeah, I'm not watching this show. This show looks terrible, And I just for any type of media, I don't think that's fair personally. Uh, but if you've seen it and just genuinely hated it, I guess I can understand as well too. So there's those camps of people, and then you have the fans who are like, yeah, this is actually a really good show. I don't know what everybody's talking about. And then, like I said, then you have me, who again, I'm just going to come into this neutral and say, yeah, I just thought I thought the show was okay. It could use a lot of improvement in the storytelling department, because I really think the storytelling it's kind of all over the place on this show, and I wasn't really sure what the main plot actually was, because there's so many main plots going on that it's hard to tie down one. So I don't know. So that's my review for Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Did you like this show? Did you hate this show? And I don't know what I'm talking about. Again, comment below. Tell me what you thought about it. I'll see you in the next video. And what did you want to tell them, baby? Okay. You want your camera? Okay, hang on a second. I'm sorry to extend this, but she wants to say something with her camera. What you want to see in your camera, baby?
Thanks for watching. Bye.
She said, thanks for watching. Bye.